mechanical.com or 602-944-5516.
Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
See this playset? There used to be a pickup truck sitting there, a truck I didn't use and didn't want. So I donated it to public television, and they took care of everything. In addition to supporting my favorite programs, I earned a tax deduction. Turn something you don't need into something you really want. Contact the Vehicle Donation Program.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World. When you want to be more connected, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, watch us online. Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
A special celebration of American folk music.
There's a meeting here tonight. There's a meeting here tonight. I know you by a friendly face. There's a meeting here tonight.
Sunday night at 7 on Arizona PBS. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Friendship Village Tempe, a retirement community for over 30 years, offers independent living with residency options, lifelong learning classes, as well as continuing care. Information at friendshipvillageaz.com.
Ironwood Cancer and Research Centers, providing personalized treatment options through research trials, genetic testing, and counseling, focused on emotional, physical, and social support. Outsmarting cancer one patient at a time.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
We are proposing a budget that will shrink the bloated federal bureaucracy, and I mean bloated.
President Trump's budget plan is out. What's getting funding and what's getting cut next?
We're in Brownsville, Texas, where President Trump's proposed border wall would bisect right through this golf resort, splitting more than half of the property to the south of the border.
And what Trump's budget cuts could mean for emergency disaster funding.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Danielle Kernkamp.
And I'm Adriana de Alba. Thank you for joining us. President Trump is delivering on campaign promises with the unveiling of his 2018 budget plan. He plans to ramp up military and border security spending while making deep cuts to programs that aid the poor, the arts, and the environment. Democratic leaders say the budget will weaken the country, while Republicans are praising Trump's proposal.
It throws billions of dollars at defense while ransacking America's investment in jobs, education, innovation, clean energy, and life-saving medical research. It will leave our nation weakened.
We got a president who thinks bold, thinks big, wants to act, and wants to get us to the finish line, and he's being very constructive in doing that.
Another agency targeted for cutting in the proposed budget is the Federal Emergency Management Agency. But emergency responders told the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee today that those cuts could threaten their ability to be prepared for a disaster. Cronkite News DC reporter Anthony Marroquin was at the hearing.
To cut the pre-disaster mitigation funds, that's whistling through the graveyard.
Or to put it another way,
not going to be any more floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. Don't worry about it. And by the way, don't call the federal government.
Because help may not be available, witnesses at a House hearing said today, pointing to a proposed budget that would cut funds for state and local governments for preparedness, staff, emergency training, and supplies. Help from the government that people have come to expect after a disaster.
The expectation that we've already established is that the government will come.
And experts fear they may not be able to keep pace with the needs of their communities in case of a disaster.
We really need to move to a more proactive model, and that means shifting dollars to pre-disaster mitigation.
The cuts are part of President Donald Trump's first budget proposal, which reduces Federal Emergency Management Agency's state and local grant funding by $667 million.
We are proposing a budget that will shrink the bloated federal bureaucracy, and I mean bloated, while protecting our national security.
The panelists agreed, now more than ever, it's important for community members to be aware of the hazards in their community and to be prepared for at least 3 days of isolation.
Don't fall back on or be comforted by what is available to you day to day, because that might not be there.
In Washington, Anthony Marroquin, Cronkite News.
Republicans say the budget proposal is only the start of the budget process and that things could change in the future.
President Trump's budget plan also includes a down payment on the border wall. The federal government has lawyers lined up to acquire the private land they will need. While most border land in Arizona is federal, that's not the case in much of the Southwest, including in Brownsville, Texas, where a border wall would likely cut through a popular retirement community.
Meander along the Rio Grande in Brownsville, Texas, and you'll come upon Riverbend Resort and Golf Club. A big hit among Texas snowbirds who flock to the Gulf Coast to live and golf near the river.
I love living here.
But to make President Trump's border wall a reality would likely mean cutting right through the property, a possibility that has put a halt to the company's plans for a 117-acre expansion.
We're not sure about if it's going to be built. If it is built, what is the access like? What does it look like? And so all of those things are really an assumption at this point. And so we've had to hold off on some of these real estate ventures.
While the changing curves of the Rio Grande serve as a natural border, it cannot support a concrete wall, which has prevented a barrier through Riverbend in the past.
A border wall already exists in this part of Brownsville, but it ends at the edge of this property. Residents fear the new wall would continue and extend along this levee, bisecting the golf resort, and 70% of the property would end up south of the border.
That's 200 homes and 15 golf holes, which would end up trapped between the wall and the river.
And that term no man's land really rings true to a lot of the people in this area.
I think it would be travesty because this is one of the best RV parks in the whole Rio Grande Valley. And I think it would be a shame to destroy it with putting a wall through it.
A new wall would also force the federal government to acquire the privately owned land. An expensive hurdle, some say, may not be the best solution.
Sure, I'm sure it'll help, it'll assist, but I think the sheriff is most looking at trying to get additional funding from the federal government so that we can hire additional officers to patrol the border.
The better solution is sit down and have a conversation and have a compromise. I mean, it's the same solution that you have for any relationship.
But so far, conversation and compromise have been hard to come by with the new administration. So for now, golfers play another round until the future of this course is revealed.
Run now.
Where'd you end up?
The owners of Riverbend Resort and Golf Club have not been contacted by President Trump or the federal government. So for now, they're continuing business as usual.
Former Arizona Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords was in Phoenix today advocating for stronger gun control. Reporter Megan Finnerty takes us to the event at the Heard Museum.
Be bold, be courageous. The nation's counting on you.
Former Arizona Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords and her husband Mark Kelly had a message for Arizona today.
Enough. We're here to say that it's time for our leaders to do more to address the gun violence crisis that's tearing communities apart and that makes our country and this state stand out in the worst of ways.
Their message was Arizona shouldn't be this deadly.
There are current laws here in Arizona and in most states. Felons, domestic abusers, and the dangerously mentally ill have the option of buying a gun without a background check. Why do we give them that option? That is just stupid.
The coalition is urging Arizona to enact what they call common sense, closing loopholes that allow criminals access to firearms. But Charles Heller from the Arizona Citizens Defense League said such loopholes don't exist.
Maybe there's a possibility that they're totally unaware of the laws that already exist making it illegal for domestic. It's been illegal since 1996 for a domestic abuser to possess a firearm.
According to data from the coalition, Arizona taxpayers pick up the tab of $1.9 billion of gun violence-related costs each year.
Wouldn't it be a great thing if we could take that $1.9 billion and spend it on something that's positive, like education?
Former Tempe Mayor Neil Giuliano said that's the cost of fear.
Anytime there's gun violence or just violence in general, fear takes over a community. And our job as leaders is to do what we can to diminish fear. And so if that fear is related to gun violence, we should do something about gun violence.
Giffords and Kelly are the founders of Americans for Responsible Solutions, an organization already operating in other states. Now they say it's time to do work at home.
So we all care about Arizona, and we live here in Arizona, and we love this state. And it should be safer.
In Phoenix, Megan Finnerty, Cronkite News.
Republicans have long considered splitting the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which covers 7 states in the West, including Arizona. Today, Congress held a hearing on the debate, and Cronkite News reporter Zi Zhang has the details from Washington.
3 judges from the Ninth Circuit Court testified before Congress today that breaking up the court could be destructive.
Splitting the circuit would have a devastating effect on the administration of justice in the western United States. It would increase case delay, cause expensive, unnecessary, and wasteful bureaucratic litigation.
Chief Judge Thomas said if split, renovation costs in Phoenix alone would be over $100 million. However, Vanderbilt University law professor Brian Fitzpatrick thinks the size of the circuit is affecting its judicial decision-making, a fact reflected in the number of times the Supreme Court reversed the Ninth Circuit rulings.
There's no doubt the Ninth Circuit is an outlier in reversal rate. It is reversed much more often than any other circuit as a percentage of the appeals it decides.
Currently, Congress is considering 4 bills that attempt to split up the circuit into different configurations, and 2 of them are from Arizona Senator Jeff Flake and Andy Biggs. Similar efforts have failed in the past, but they're looking more optimistic in today's political climate. In Washington, D.C., Zi Zhang, Cronkite News.
Women across the nation are staying in the workforce past retirement age. Here in Arizona, the numbers have risen every year for the last 5 years. Reporter Kennedy Scott tells us why women 65 and older are working longer.
Dana Riddell is one of many women rejecting retirement. At 70 years old, she enjoys being the volunteer coordinator at the nonprofit Arizona Women's Education and Employment Organization, also known as AWE. It provides job training and life skills to men and women going through a transition in their lives.
Augmenting my income is a good thing, but it's really bigger than that. You know, as I faced retirement and actually lived in retirement for a couple of years, I found that I really prefer working.
The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows the number of Arizona women 65 and older in the workforce increased nearly 2% since 2012.
Regards to women 65 and older participating more in the labor force. We've seen this trend occur over the last 8 years for that specific age cohort.
Dana Kennedy, State Director of the American Association of Retired Persons, says older women are re-entering the workforce after several years as caregivers. Also, women traditionally make less money than men, so they may need to work longer.
And job satisfaction, if people are enjoying the work that they do, they want to continue to work. So as long as we see aging as a positive rather than a negative, then people continue to work as long as they want to.
That's true for Riddell, who says one of her favorite parts of AWE is helping people dress for success.
I want to make a difference, and when someone comes and shops and puts on an outfit, and you can just see the transformation, you can see how wonderful they feel. You can feel their confidence grow.
And doing that, in turn, gives a sense of purpose to Riddell's post-retirement years. In downtown Phoenix, Kennedy Scott, Cronkite News.
Conversations about autism often focus on children on the spectrum.
But what happens when those children grow up? Coming up on Cronkite News, the struggle adults with autism face when finding doctors who can help.
Plus, how a new building in Phoenix is helping the homeless get back on their feet.
I'm Scott Pelley, anchor and managing editor of the CBS Evening News. In our changing media landscape, it is crucial for journalism education to ensure a commitment to the truth, unbiased reporting, strong ethics, unwavering fairness, and above all else, accuracy. These are the hallmarks of ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. It's a place where students can innovate and transform the news industry while always upholding the values of the school's namesake. The Cronkite School at ASU, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Discover so much more at azpbs.org/schedule, where it's easier than ever to find out what's on Arizona PBS. Access interactive digital and printable program guides, repeat times, and full episode descriptions. Watch program previews of best bets for the coming week. Search by title to find your favorite shows. You can even add programs to your calendar and get email reminders when they're about to start. It's easier than ever to find out what's on Arizona PBS. Discover so much more at azpbs.org/schedule. When you want to be more connected, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, watch us online.
Millions of people live with autism in our country, but usually when we talk about autism, we just hear about kids. Cronkite News Los Angeles reporter Lauren Negrete found out adults with autism have trouble finding doctors.
Parents tell me that as soon as their kid turns 18, they lose their pediatric unit, and the struggle to find a new doctor starts. Good. It's okay. You can tell by her laugh that Debbie Rosenbrook adores her sons Mark and Steven, but she's had a hard time finding a doctor who cares for them as much as she does.
When they left the school system and became classified as adults, they kind of fell off the cliff into the great abyss. And it took us a number of years to find Dr. Allen and Dr. Simmons here at the Access Clinic.
How are you doing? I'm doing. It's good to see you.
Dr. Scott Allen not only sees patients with autism, he even devotes up to 3 hours to those who need extra care at the Access Clinic at Riverside University Health Medical Center.
It means more than I could possibly express. The boys actually like coming here. They don't like going anywhere else. And they're treated as an individual who has value and worth. And we haven't found that anywhere else.
Dr. Allen knows their value because he has a son with developmental disabilities. He and his wife, who's also a doctor at Access, had a hard time finding care for their own son and wanted to help other families in the same situation.
So we would love that to see this model reproduced, if for no other reason that we'd love our son to be able to go to a clinic like this.
They just genuinely care here.
Debbie hopes other doctors see the difference that Dr. Allen is making and consider seeing patients with autism too. A third of the patients at Access have autism, and that number could go up because the Center for Disease Control and Prevention is reporting a 30% increase in new autism cases over the last 8 years. In Los Angeles, Lauren Negrete, Cronkite News.
A brand new podcast from Cronkite News will look into challenges facing young adults in Arizona who have autism spectrum disorder. Be sure to listen to Cronkite News in Focus. The podcast launches tomorrow, and you can find it on cronkitenews.azpbs.org/podcast.
More than 600 homeless people each month seek help from the Maricopa Human Services Campus. Today was the grand opening of the Brian Garcia Welcome Center. As Cronkite News reporter Ivory Reiner shows us, this is the entry point for the homeless who need assistance.
The Brian Garcia Welcome Center is the latest addition to the Maricopa County Human Services Campus off of Jefferson Street in downtown Phoenix. It was named after the late Brian Garcia, who volunteered at the shelter. The new building is the first stop. Assessments will be done here to determine what services each person needs. The center helps them find jobs and housing. Patrick Sanchez became homeless 5 months ago, but thanks to the center, he and his wife won't be on the streets for long.
This place has taken us out of homelessness here really soon, and we'll be getting us an apartment. And we thank God for CAS and the people here. They make you feel like human beings.
The center cares for about 7,000 people annually. Mike McQuaid, the board president of the Human Services Campus, said the goal is to get that number down.
We've housed hundreds of people, we've employed thousands of people, and so the numbers have stayed fairly steady. We're trying to, of course, have that trend downward and have fewer people here. If we can have through the Welcome Center, we can get them to other services.
Next on the agenda will be a community garden near the entrance of the campus. In Phoenix, Ivory Reiner, Cronkite News.
Officially March Madness.
And the countdown is on to the Final Four. Coming up on Cronkite News, how the Valley is preparing to host the NCAA Final Four.
And temperatures are way above average for this time of year, when we might be breaking some records. Coming up next.
I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now. Right about now.
Well, hope you filled out your brackets because the wait is over and March Madness got underway in earnest today. In 16 days, the field of 68 will be whittled down to an esteemed 4 teams, and the curtain will go up on the Valley's latest championship sports show. Cronkite News reporter Blake Bernard previews some changes that are coming to the Valley as a result of the big game.
Phoenix has been home to a variety of championship sporting events over the years, most recently the 2016 College Football Playoff National Championship and the 2015 Super Bowl. This year, though, the University of Phoenix Stadium is tickling the twine and playing host to the Final Four.
We're ready to roll out the red carpet for everyone.
Beyond the glamour, University of Phoenix Stadium, the home of the Arizona Cardinals, is undergoing major changes and transforming into the ultimate home of March Madness. Many of these changes are coming in the next 2 weeks, including adding 16,000 seats for a total capacity of more than 52,000. The specially made Final Four court arrives from Michigan and is installed on March 24th. And hanging above the middle of the stadium, the scoreboard.
It's due here on Friday. It's an 8-sided board with a ring on the top and a ring on the bottom, so somewhat of an engineering challenge, if you will, to hang that thing from a retractable roof stadium.
As Glendale prepares to host the Final Four for the first time in the West since 1995, surprisingly enough, that's the year I was born, it will not be the only spot in Arizona that is undergoing change. Over in downtown Phoenix, they'll be hosting many festivities, including the March Madness Music Festival. And with 16 days remaining, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done.
March Madness Music Festival is always probably the most logistically challenging event that we have.
The festival will be located at Margaret T. Hance Park in downtown Phoenix. Organizers announced Aerosmith, the Chainsmokers, Keith Urban, and Macklemore and Ryan Lewis will headline the event. Just down the road from there, the Phoenix Convention Center will serve as the home to the Final Four Fan Fest, a 4-day event including autograph sessions, youth clinics, and special appearances. Organizers say they are working to mitigate the additional traffic that comes with the influx of people for these events.
We actually work with Uber and Lyft to make sure that they know the logistics of the events, they know the drop-off and pickup points for Fan Fest and March Madness Music Festival, as well as out of the stadiums.
Organizers are still looking for several hundred volunteers to help staff the Fan Fest and Music Festival. Additionally, any downtown road work will be suspended during the duration of the event. As for the fans that will be flying in from out of state, the ongoing construction to Terminal 3 at Sky Harbor will be put on hold during the Final Four to help ease any potential chaos. In downtown Phoenix, Blake Bernard, Cronkite News.
Temperatures are heating up here in the Valley. Danielle is in the Weather Center with your forecast.
That's right, Adriana. We're definitely in a bit of a heat wave right now. As you can see, 91 in Phoenix, and we're pretty much above average for the entire state of Arizona. So we're in those high 60s up in the high country, 93 here in Yuma, 93 in Phoenix, and we're basically going to be seeing those high 80s, low 90s across the valley right now, which is a lot higher than normal. We're typically in those high 70s for this time of year. So as you can see, the rest of the week, though, we are going to start to maybe cool down a little bit, but not until we might break a couple of records. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. If you're heading out tomorrow night, 65 degrees is going to be the perfect temperature. But on Saturday, if you're heading to any of those spring training games, definitely grab that water and some sunscreen, because those clouds might make it a little bit sneaky for that sun. But for the rest of the week, we'll be heading back into some low temperatures at 77 on Wednesday and 76 on Thursday. That's a look at your 7-day forecast.
Students from low-income families are getting a wardrobe upgrade.
Skirts and dresses.
How the Assistance League of Phoenix's program Operation School Bell is helping dress students for success.
Heaven knows you're a dreamer. Don't hide it from anyone. Don't hide it from anyone. Hey, would you believe me if I said we are here for a reason now? This is our life. This is what counts. This is for us. I will go anywhere for you.
Many things can distract a student from learning, even not having proper clothes to wear to school. But as Alexis Dukrath reports, Operation School Bell is driving out the insecurity for low-income families.
Children keep busy while they wait for their chance to try on new clothes.
It has some glasses and some eyes and a mustache.
Shoes and skirts in all different sizes make sure every child can find the right fit. Students receive 3 polo shirts, 2 bottoms, a sweatshirt, a pair of shoes, and a brand new book of their choice. And they have a unique place that has all of this in stock, courtesy of the Assistance League of Phoenix.
Years ago, we received a big grant from the Arizona Diamondbacks, and we were able to purchase a 40-foot former city bus. We converted it to a mobile dressing station, so we take Operation School Bell on the road.
Students from kindergarten through 8th grade wait for their chance to board the Delivering Dream Bus and receive their new outfits. Once aboard, the students wait here for their names to be called and try on their new clothes. The bus is equipped with 4 dressing rooms so students can find the best fit. And all of this means a lot to the students and parents they help.
Oh, it's amazing. They enjoy it so much. We're a Title I school, so it's a kind of a need for a lot of families, so it's just awesome.
I don't have much clothes, and when Miss Beth told me that we're gonna go today, I was so excited.
Now every student here can feel confident walking into the classroom and be ready to learn. In Phoenix, Alexis Dukrath, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, it's a special In Focus edition with Arizona Diamondbacks President and CEO Derek Hall. We'll talk about the team, his life, and more. In Focus with Derek Hall on the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next NewsHour. A first look at President Trump's budget. What's getting a boost and what's on the chopping block. That's Thursday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
retire like you mean it. Meritage Active Adult Communities.
Deanne Griebel, now with Moores & Cabot Investments, serving investors since 1890, proudly supports quality programming on 8 Arizona PBS, 480-725-9602.